Hello and welcome to Estuary TV News with me, Erica Barker. On tonight's show, editor and joint owner of Cleethorpes Chronicle, Nigel Lowther, joins me on the sofa to review this week's papers. But first, here's James Dunn with the news headlines.
Hello, in the headlines today, a hoax call leads to a major Coast Guard operation in Cleethorpes and a film society needs new members to keep the reels rolling. Humber Coast Guard has warned hoax calls can cost lives after a false alarm on Thursday night, which is now being investigated by police. The helicopter was mobilised after reports someone had gone under the water at around 8 p.m. and was seen scouring the coast at Cleethorpes. Nothing was found and the call has now been classed as a false alarm with malicious intent. Humber Coast Guard Watch Manager Mike Green cannot comment on the specific case, which is now in the hands of police, but he did say hoax calls take resources away from serious incidents and could cost lives. Louth's MP, who is father of the House of Commons, will step down before the general election next year. Sir Peter Tepsell is the oldest MP in the House of Commons, but announced on Friday he would not defend his seat. The 84-year-old won his first parliamentary seat in 1959. He lost it in 64 but has served continuously since 1966. Central Government have allocated an extra £2.3 million to local councils to repair damaged roads. East Riding will get £1.3 million, Hull gets £204,000, North East Lincolnshire will get £213,000 and there's an extra £646,000 for North Lincolnshire. The Department for Transport claims it will help repair potholes and general damage caused by bad weather and flooding. Councils will be required to publish details of where the money was spent on their websites. North East Lincolnshire Council is to raise the unpopular speed limit on Peaks Parkway from 30 to 40 miles per hour. Since average speed limits were introduced in December, nearly 2,000 people have signed a petition to remove speed cameras and increase the limit to 40. A committee was set up to look into the issue and councillors accepted their proposal to increase the limit but will retain the cameras. A rape crisis centre in Hull has been saved thanks to the Police and Crime Commissioner Matthew Grove. The centre provides support for victims of sexual abuse, but when government funding was cut they faced a real threat from closure. But Mr Grove has now stepped in to fund the service, which he says does amazing work in protecting the victims of a devastating crime. The Dambuster Squadron that flew out of RAF Scampton is to be disbanded this week until 2018. Squadron 617 flew out of Scampton on March the 21st, 1943 and used a bouncing bomb to destroy 3 dams in the industrial Ruhr region in Germany, crucial to the war effort. Its pilots currently fly Tornadoes but will be disbanded in order to return in 2018 as the RAF's first F-35B Lightning II Squadron. A leading surgeon who introduced keyhole surgery to Scunthorpe General has retired after 29 years at the hospital. Peter Moore, 64, from Ulsby, raised more than £100,000 in the late 80s to buy the top-of-the-range equipment to perform operations. Since then, it has saved thousands of lives. He said helping his patients and working with his colleagues over 3 decades has been a privilege. North Lincolnshire Council want residents to shop potential fraudsters in an effort to crack down on false claims. 24 people were prosecuted for benefit fraud over the last 12 months, and a 2-year operation before that uncovered £300,000 worth of fraud in the area. 90% of this related to council tax or housing benefit. The council is now enlisting help from the public and urging them to report suspicious activity anonymously on the council's website. A vaccination against meningitis B could soon be available at local hospitals. The vaccine has been approved by the Department of Health, so long as they can negotiate a cost-effective price with producers Novartis. A local film society is under threat because they can't pull in big enough audiences for the classic movies they show every month. Meniscus Film Society used to show movies at Cleethorpes Parkway but has now had to downsize to make screenings financially viable and operate from Oasis Academy Wintringham in Grimsby. They also show films in Louth and sometimes draw a full house, but in Grimsby they struggle to get 20 bums on seats. Committee members are now warning that it may be the end for the club unless people come along to watch.
No, clearly if people don't come to watch the films and there's insufficient demand, we can't continue, and neither would there really be any point in showing films in an empty cinema.
The next film at Oasis is Charlie Chaplin's The Great Dictator in April. More details can be found via their website meniscusfilms.co.uk. That's all from me. I'll see you next time.
Thanks, James. Editor and joint owner of the Cleethorpes Chronicle, Nigel Lowther, joins me today to discuss the big stories affecting Northern Lincolnshire and East Yorkshire. Hi Nigel, how are you?
I'm very well.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm not bad, thank you. So what are the big stories then? What have we got today?
Well, I think the one that I turned to in North East Lincolnshire, the continuing cutbacks that the council are announcing. The headlines in the Grimsby Telegraph here about possible closure of the youth centres. We had earlier on about possible closures of public conveniences, although that's now been the subject of a partial U-turn. But I'm afraid, you know, the council needing to find £76 million by 2017, and these stories are going to happen again and again with as the council suffers a real squeeze on the money it's able to spend. You know.
So do you think we will see more of this in the future? Then cuts will, you know, continue to be made?
I think there's plenty more to come over the coming weeks and months ahead, and I'm very sympathetic to the position that the council finds itself in. You know, it must be impossible with the squeeze that it's had on its core funding from central government, and to actually you know, maintain the level of services that we've been traditionally used to. And it's going to be a very, very different looking council in the future.
I mean, even looking at the public toilets, it seems like a lot of services are to be affected, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that's a relatively small sum, and I think that's where I welcome the fact that they've done this slight U-turn on it in terms of the ones in Grimsby. But the fact remains that they've got to find this money from somewhere, and you know, it is a case of where are the priorities for the local council.
Okay, Nigel, what else do we have?
Well, on a brighter note, Cleethorpes will be hosting the air show again this year, and this is actually on the front page of our newspaper, the Cleethorpes Chronicle. The air show last year in July was a fantastic success. You know, it was difficult to estimate crowds, but organisers were saying up to 100,000 a day over the 2 days in July. The Red Arrows, the Tornado, the Battle of Britain Memorial Flight, all of those have been confirmed for this year's event on July 26th and 27th. And you know, the resort is gearing up for, it is the single biggest event of the year, and it's terrific that there's some good organisation behind it. You know, they're appealing for sponsors to keep it going, but this is great news from Cleethorpes' perspective. And
is this going to attract people from all over the country, not just this region?
Yeah, I mean, the Red Arrows, the Typhoon Jet last year, I think I said Tornado, the Typhoon Jet last year was a real highlight, you know, for those of us that were down there, and the people that enjoyed those 2 days last year will undoubtedly return again this year, and hopefully as its reputation builds, it will attract more and more visitors to Cleethorpes, which will be welcome.
And it's fantastic, isn't it, that people get an opportunity to see things like this that you wouldn't ever really get the chance to see, would you? I know I've never seen anything like that, so I have to go along.
Absolutely, and I think it's the location itself. Cleethorpes seafront is a vast expanse of space, and you're looking out over the beach.
Is that why it's a great area as well?
I think so. It's just as long as we get decent weather, it's a fantastic location where tens of thousands of people can watch it in safety, and you know, from a huge number of vantage points across the miles of the seafront. So yeah, it's a perfect venue, and it was a terrific event last year, and let's hope for more this year.
No, definitely. What else do we have?
Well, this story is from the Hull Daily Mail, and this is about the bridge tolls, and basically that lorries and cars there'll be free flowing. Hauliers won't have to stop at the bridge tolls to pay the money, which will help. And again, you know, it comes back to anything that helps get more trade going across the Humber Bridge has got to be good for the region as a whole.
And how is making it automated going to improve the flow?
Because they don't have to stop. You know, they can just, there's basically some device in their windscreen that just registers that they've crossed. Right. And it's be an automatic payment rather than having to stop at the toll booth and wind the window down and
Yeah.
pay the money over and all the rest of it. So they don't have to do that. And, you know, so, I mean, I'm just keen to see from a Cleethorpes perspective, a Grimsby perspective, I'm just keen to see more people from the North Bank come over to the resort and to Grimsby. It's only, you know, sort of 40 minutes drive. We've got some wonderful attractions, great things to see and do over here. And, you know, from a resort perspective, traditionally Hull has always looked towards Bridlington and Scarborough. And now with the halving of the bridge tolls, things like this that make it so much easier to cross, hopefully, as has been shown since the bridge tolls came down 18 months ago, there are more people coming over to the South Bank and enjoying particularly the resort of Cleethorpes, the shopping in Grimsby, whatever they're doing. And that's got to be good news.
And some hauliers are backing this as well, aren't they? So that's a positive, is it?
Yeah, absolutely. They will be doing. I say anything that makes it easier to travel and saves them time. And time is money, isn't it?
So what would happen? I don't know if you know this, Nigel. So if I drove down and automatically would my registration number be seen,
Well, this is specifically about hauliers. I think what the automated tolls is going to be much more of an improvement. You won't be speaking to a particular individual. You know, you go across other bridges, say, you know, in the south, and you just throw your money in a bucket, and it just the barrier shoots up. It's a lot quicker, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
no,
I think that's how it's going to impact on individual drivers.
Right, fantastic. What else do we have?
Well, I'm a huge football fan. Season ticket holder.
I've heard you're a massive sports fan.
Yeah, I'm a big football fan. I'm a season
football?
ticket holder at Blundell Park, home of the mighty Mariners, or not so mighty as they've been in recent times in the Blue Square Conference, and it's all getting reasonably exciting towards as the season draws to its climax. We've got league leaders here on Tuesday night at Luton Town, so we're getting quite excited about that, and hopefully they've had some reasonable results in March, the odd setback, but reasonable results as a whole. March, April are the crucial months in a footballing season, and you know that they can build on that momentum. I think getting to the top spot, an automatic promotion is out of the question. Luton will do that, but they can get into the playoffs, and hopefully they can do so with some momentum, unlike last year where we sort of stumbled into the playoffs. You know, go in with plenty of confidence and hopefully come out on top and get back into the Football League where the club and its supporters deserve to be.
And just finally, can I ask you about the Tigers and the City debate and what you make of that?
Yeah, well, I sympathise with the supporters in Hull, you know, a large number of whom have held a very effective protest against changing the name from Hull City to Hull Tigers. And I think there is a frustration generally in football and among supporters that owners, sometimes they just ride roughshod over a club's traditions. And, you know, there's nothing more important in a football club than its supporters. And owners should really take note, and I think that's a key thing. Obviously, they're going to put it out to the vote, I understand, which I think is a fair way of doing things. But I know the FA have come out against it. And
okay, sorry, Nigel, I have to stop it there. But thank you for joining me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure.
If you have any stories that you would like to share with us, you can get in touch by phone on Grimsby 315561, write on our Facebook page, or tweet us at Estuary TV, or email us news@estuary.tv. That's all from us today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.